Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Jerry Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is really true, is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Jerry Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jerry Petito Show on HamiltonRadio.net. Tonight's going to be a lot of fun, guys. A lot of fun. So, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves, and then, of course, I'm going to read their poems. I'm going to let Scott introduce himself first and tell everyone who you are, and then I have something to say about him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Gager, and I'm the man of my Facebook fan pages, Scott Gager, Man of 100 Voices. It's probably closer to 200 by now, but what else would you like me to say?
Scott Gager is a personal friend of mine. His amazing wife, Debbie, is also a singer and unfortunately couldn't be here today. Scott Gager is the man of over 100 voices. What he does with his voice is incredible. I'm going to read his poem. I've read his poems before. I have a new guest tonight that we're really spotlighting, and I thought it would be great for these two men to hang out together on my show tonight. Tell everyone who you are.
My name is Jeff DEHART, and I'm a comic impressionist, and I live here in New Jersey.
Okay.
But don't hold that against me.
I know, right? I'm starting to think that too as well. Wait till you hear this man's story because it's really off the charts. So, Scott, I'm going to read your poem I had written for you, okay?
All righty.
So I know you've heard it, but just in case someone out there hasn't.
I want to hear it again.
All right. Again, his wife Debbie is included in this poem, but she's not here, guys. Sorry. My two guests will amuse you. Scott and Debbie sound great. Even though they sing country music, they hate. When I first heard them singing, I couldn't wait for more. I thought they sang forever because music is their core. Then they told me, singers they're not. I questioned them, put them on the spot. What do you mean? You guys sound so good. If you guys don't sing, then nobody should. Scott impersonates so many men. Debbie belts out time and again. The man of 100 voices and actually even more, Scott did Elvis for me, the man that I adore. His YouTube has blown up. His fans are near and far. My friend Scott Gager has really set the bar. Their voices are crazy, no matter the song. Scott and Debbie are awesome. They just can't go wrong. Music is said to define who you are. The kind you are listening to really matters by far. This husband and wife team with whom I'm impressed, even though they ain't singers, they're right there with the best. So let's tell that story. So I met you guys when I had my poker league.
Right, that was it.
Ms. Night Owl Poker at
A little
Amarone's.
place at Amarone's.
Yep,
correct.
that's no longer there.
My first little singing gig when I realized I could do this.
So Scott and Debbie would sing. It was Thursday nights, I believe.
It was started out as Tuesdays, then I moved to Thursdays.
Because we had our games there 2 nights a week at the time.
Right.
Okay, so they would sing, and we would all come out of the back room, during our poker breaks and be like, these guys are great. So one day, of course, I went up to them like, oh my gosh, these are amazing country singers. And they're like, well, really, we're not singers and we hate country music. That's what started this journey for me with you guys.
Right.
Tell them what you also did, or do you still do it with the horses?
Yes.
Tell them what that is.
I am an equine dentist. I'm a horse dentist. I've been doing that my whole life. And now I am considered in the horse world as the singing dentist. So when I go to just about any appointment that I do, I am made to sing in the barn, and people fire different people that they want to hear. And,
okay.
And if people don't know me, and Andrew will say something, they'll they'll just look at me very strangely, like, how did you do that?
So I was at Parks Casino one night, this is years ago, and his son happened to be there talking to another friend of mine who works with the horses as well. And that's how I found out about you being a horse dentist. So the next night we have our poker game, and I go up to him. I'm real serious. I said, I have horses, and my horse has a toothache. I don't know what to do. And real serious, he says to me, "Oh, I'm a horse dentist." And I cracked up. I said, "Really? No kidding. Why would I say that to you if I did?" I said, "It's a joke. I don't have horses anymore." And I didn't even know horses got toothaches, okay? Right. So that started us like really getting to know each other. But the funniest part about all this is what you told me about Kermit the Frog.
What did I tell you
You
about
said
most of the country singers, and this isn't a technical term, it's just the term in my brain.
Yes.
They're either Kermit singers or they're raspy singers. Now, my producer tells me it's called pressed phonation. Now, I don't know what that is, but I know that I can turn myself into that type of voice. And when I do that, that's how, like, Luke Bryan sounds. All we do right. I mean, all my voices of that side, that's the bass line that I start at, and I can add a deep vocal to it. I can add a high vocal to it. So I can go from Boss Skaggs of a higher Kermit to a low Kermit. That's what I call it.
So the other thing that I learned that I was like blown away by was when I had your dad on the show with you. Tell everyone who your dad is.
My father's Ed Gager, and he's the one who actually wrote the first book on equine dentistry back in 1983. Sound Mouse, Sound Horse, the Gager Method of Equine Dental Care. That book is in just about every major university that has equine studies.
Okay. So, this stuff is just fascinating to me. That was such a great show for me, having your dad there with the book. That was so cool, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, would you like to start off with playing? Oh, wait, I want to tell everyone about this, guys. It's here. It's finally here. His CD. Tell everyone about your CD.
It's a CD you can purchase on my my fan page, Scott Gager, Man of 100 Voices. It's a 70-song CD, and I sell it for $25 online. That's in shipping and handling. Everything's included. But it's almost 4 hours of music. We're getting some feedback.
So, are there 3 CDs in every
There are
one?
3 CDs. It's a triple pack. Yes.
Triple pack, guys.
Mm-hmm. There's several that are my voice on it, and then there's several that is, there's Elvis Presley, and there's Randy Travis, there's Willie Nelson, there's Neil Diamond, Joe Cocker. There's just all kinds of different voices on there. And then there's 2 original songs on there that I wrote, Red and Blue, and Alone. Alone about PTSD, Red and Blue about our country, the infighting between the red states and the blue states, which is the first song I wrote. I also have exciting news about that. The video that I have, it's a viral video that is going to be going on ABC, on America's Funniest Home Videos. I signed the final paperwork for that today.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that video, it's called That Horse Bit Me.
Oh, I saw it. That's great.
Right, so that is America's Funniest Home Videos reached out to me about 3 weeks ago, and I got all the paperwork just completed today. So it'll be posted on my page what date that will air.
Okay.
It's been on 5 TV shows, but always on cable networks. It's been on Ridiculousness. It's been on True TV.
Okay.
But now it's making it to a main, ABC.
Yeah, it's hysterical, guys. You have to check it out. I want to talk about your 2 songs, the originals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the one about PTSD first. PTSD first. Tell everyone about that and about Tell the story.
Well, my son, my youngest son, was in the military. He was in the infantry, and he saw combat in Afghanistan. And when he came home, he brought a young man with him who had no family. And the boy, after the military, was was suffering from PTSD, and the symptoms, were very obvious to everyone around him. And it gave. I can't take credit for this song because I didn't write it.
Okay.
Debbie wrote it. Deb wrote this song. She brought it to me, and I was, floored when I read the lyrics to this thing. And I changed it around a little bit, and another gentleman, my producer, Paul Presto, he and the three of us are really a really good team because he can put stuff to music, and then I can wordsmith it a little bit. I added a couple things, but it was her. It was actually my idea to write the song, and then I came home one day and she had it penned.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it really has resonated. For an original song, it almost has 300,000 views online. And that's hard to do with an original.
Yeah.
It really is. People don't listen to original songs unless it's, a hit. So it's really resonated. And in every show that I do it at, people, they really, it hits home, it hits home with people. It really does.
Tell the story about Red and Blue and when that was done.
So Red and Blue was done the night that I had never written a song in my life before. So it was the night of the 2012 election. And I woke up about 3:30 in the morning and looked at the map, and it was just red and blue. It was just blue, red in the middle, blue on the outside. And I just said, this country's red and blue. It's just torn in two. And a light bulb went off in my head. And I went downstairs at probably 3 o'clock in the morning, and I started writing, and I finished probably about 8:30 in the morning, and I read it to Debbie, and she was like, "Wow, where'd this come from?" I said, "I don't know." So I wrote that song. That song's been played on a few radio stations.
Where did you sing that live?
I sang it live at the Capitol building in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So those two songs that he just told you about are two of my favorites. I actually also met that young man that song was about, and I know his son, I know his family. And Red and Blue, I have a friend named Rich Bryn who's starting a movement called Enough is Enough. And we even got on Fox. I brought him to New York, and we got in the Fox building. We got on the news about this, and that was pretty cool. And I did a show, and I had Scott and Debbie on, and it was with Rich about bringing the country together, no more division. That song was made before this show. It was unbelievable. People are still talking to me about that show today. So all we want is for everybody to come together. That's it, okay? Stop the division.
Yep.
That song is unbelievable. Please, everybody, if you get a chance, Google his song, right? They could hear it?
Yes,
Red and
yeah,
Blue?
you can hear it. It's on that page. It's on Scott Gager, Man of
Okay.
100 Voices page.
Okay.
Alone is on there as well.
Okay. What song would you like to play for us?
What do you want me to do?
Can you do Red and Blue?
I don't have a track
Okay.
for it, but I could sing like the first couple
Sing,
bars of it
do
a
that for
cappella.
us. Do that for us, and then we'll play one of your songs.
All right. From the day that no, that's the wrong one. That's Alone.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Debbie, we need you here, sweetheart. That's because Debbie's not here to keep him in line.
Yeah, I'm getting my lyrics confused here, which is Red and Blue is, I remember as a young boy sitting in the class, bowed all heads of pray, 'cause that's how it started all day. Saluted that flag, that red, white, and blue, with hands on our chests. Guess we knew this country was the best. Now there's just red and blue. This country, it's divided red and blue. When do we stand united, red and blue? Don't let it tear our country in two. So that's
Yeah.
just the beginning.
I just
of
love
it.
that. I just absolutely love that. It's beautiful, amazing. So
that's-
play a song for us.
Play a song for you, like an impersonation or something.
Anything, any song you want everybody to
Well,
hear.
the one that goes over big at shows. I mean, everybody. Whether you like country music or you do not like country music,
You want to play it? Oh,
everybody likes Johnny Cash.
can he do that? He can play your track.
You probably can't, not from this computer.
Oh. He's got your CD.
Oh, it's not on there.
Oh.
No, I'll just do a little Johnny Cash. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Funny.
Here comes Johnny at you.
He's a critic
I
here.
keep a close watch on this heart of mine. I keep my eyes wide open all the time. I keep the ends out for the tide that binds. Because you're mine, I walk the line. So that's a little
I
Johnny.
can take it. So, to me, that's amazing. So here's your real critic here. What did you think?
Very good. That was really
Was
good.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Can we play one of your songs from the CD?
Sure.
Okay. Pick a song. It doesn't matter. They're all good. One of Scott's
play-
songs from his
Play-
CD.
So did you download them all?
No, I have your disc.
You got, there's 3 of them.
She
though.
was bred in old Kentucky, but she's just a crumb up here.
Yeah, they're not named.
I love
it's
that.
song
No, but I
18
get it.
on
We
the-
do, okay.
Third disc. Try,
an old Three
try
Stooges
song 18 on the third
love the
disc.
Three
I'll know it
Stooges.
immediately
Are you
when I
kidding
hear
me?
it if that's
The
the right
best.
one. That's alone. That's the PTSD
Yes.
song.
That's really good. He's doing Three Stooges over here.
Why
No,
certainly.
it's that one.
Yeah.
She was bred in old Kentucky, but she's just a crumb up here.
Yeah.
That was one of the.
I heard somebody do your thing, so I have that deep voice, and then I heard somebody on one of your things do the Four Seasons
Oh,
to your voice. That
Michael D'Amore from the Capris.
Jerry, baby, Jerry.
You got to record that. You have to. You have to.
So what I have is a lot of octaves in my voice. I can go super deep or super
Or high.
high or wherever I want to be.
Michael D'Amore from the Capris sang that for me in this studio
Yeah.
and at Friendly's.
Yeah.
I think you need to record that song.
Scott, on your third track, how many songs are on each track?
There's 20 some on each one.
20,
So I'm not 24, 24, and 23, I think.
On each one?
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Can't you just pick one?
Well, you wanted to hear Alone, I guess.
Oh.
Yeah, there's Alone
okay.
is on there.
We're trying to find one of the songs.
Well,
So,
waiting.
Why don't you guys talk to each other a little
Well,
bit? Do
I
you have
was
any
very
questions?
impressed
Do you have any
with the
questions?
gentleman. I was very impressed with his Rodney Dangerfield. Sounded great. I have
Okay.
a really good ear for listening to things, and doesn't take me long to copy something that I hear. But that was very, very.
Oh,
very,
thanks. Yeah, Rodney was great. I miss him. He
Yeah.
was. I'll tell you. I could tell you a funny story, but
Tell
I'll
us.
do it later.
No, he's looking. You're still
Oh, well,
looking?
while you're looking.
Go ahead.
When
tell
my
your
wife and
story.
I got engaged, I was doing a show in Atlantic City, and she was working there. And so one night we took our moms to go see George Burns. And
loved him.
my mother-in-law to be tipped the maitre d' 100, so we sat right like this. And then afterwards we went back to meet him. And he was so cute, you know. And during the show he had a little tuxedo on, but afterwards he looked like a golfer who got dressed in a dark closet. Nothing matched. And he's sitting there with his cigar, and so his manager, Irving, finds his, well, first he says, Jeff does a great impression of you, George. And he says, let's see you do it, kid. And I said, I can't do you without a cigar, Mr. Burns. So he gives me a cigar, and I did my impression. And then Irving says, you know, Jeff and Roxanne just got engaged, George. And he goes, that's so nice. You're a lovely couple. I wish you all the luck in the world. Real class. The very next week, we're visiting Rodney. After the show, Rodney's in his bathrobe, nothing underneath. And Rodney's going, you know, I heard you and Roxanne got engaged. I said, I'm going to get personal, but I think you ought to sleep together first. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny from 1 week to the next, you know, class, no class, you know.
got
Rodney,
the
you
grabbing
know.
the tie.
Oh, you got the tie. You got the tie, you know. I tell you, you don't get no respect, you know.
This is so great. You got it? All right,
The song, you
play.
ready?
We're gonna play Scott Gager's song.
What song is this? You think? see what it is. It could be
Wait till you
anything.
hear this. You're gonna love it.
Oh, I'm not sure he's going to have the right one. Who knows?
Oh my gosh.
That's it.
From the day that I was born, I've been on my own.
I love this song.
No sisters or brother, never had a home. Grew up in the system, just trying to find my way. Then I turned 18, been waiting on that day. I signed the papers, saluted that flag, stood in line and got my tags, and for the first time I was home. I fight for my country, I fight for my home. These soldiers are my brothers, finally found where I belong. I fight for my freedom, see things you can't believe, but no one understands like my brothers. So I keep fighting. When my tour was over, they put me on a plane. And no more band of brothers, I'm alone again. My future wasn't promised, so angry and confused. I served my country well, but all I feel is used. I got no job, I got no home. This pain inside is all I own, and I don't care if I live or I die. I fought for my country, I fought for my home. These soldiers are my brothers, finally found where I belong. I fight for my freedom, see things you can't believe, but no one understands like my brothers. So I keep fighting. I'm just trying to crawl out of this hole I'm in, but the darkness is calling my name. One day I got the call, said, "Soldier, where you been?" Back in the system, alone again. He said, "Brother, you just hang on, 'cause we're on our way." Surrounded by family, I had the strength to say, I fight for my country, I fight for my home. These soldiers are my brothers, I'm not alone. We still fight for freedom, and what you all should see is no one understands like my brothers. So we keep fighting.
So that was beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Wow. I love that song. Awesome.
Yeah, that I've had a lot of vets at shows that I've done have come up to me, grown men just crying. It's so emotional when you see that you know you've touched somebody with something, you know, through music or whatever, you know, whatever vehicle it happens to be, and they just time and time again, you know, saying, "Man, that's how I feel. That's how I feel."
Amazing.
You know? Yeah.
So, thank you for all that.
You're very welcome.
We're going to talk to my new guest tonight now for a while. All right, so, Jeff, I wrote a poem for you.
Oh boy.
Okay?
Oh, I tell you, I'm looking forward to this, you know. All right.
So, okay, everybody out there knows I write my guest poems, and they send me facts, and then I try to do justice. Well, this guy's facts were off the charts, crazy. I didn't even know. I was blown away, and I'm sure you're going to be blown away. So when I read this poem, you'll get a really good idea of who this man is sitting next to me, okay? And why I'm so honored. Jeff DeHart. My guest on my show is famous, I swear. He knows all the greats. I saved him a chair. Jeff DeHart's his name. His story's insane. The impressions he does are off the damn chain. Shares his birthday and year with a guy we all know. Billy Crystal's the guy who's rolling in dough. The best part about him, the people he's met, him doing Rodney to Rodney without breaking a sweat. David Brenner, Robin Williams, and Soupy Sales, to name a few. Heard Jeff doing them. I bet they were cracking up too. You also met George Burns. What you got this man to do, George gave you his cigar to impersonate him too. At 28, you started this, at Catch a Rising Star. Also at the Improv, really high was the bar. The comic strip came later, where you met beginners too, Joe Piscopo, Larry David, Jerry Seinfeld, to name a few. You then moved to L.A. The Comedy Store was your gig. David Letterman, Gary Shandling, also Bob Saget, go fig. George Wallace and Robin Williams played with you back then. Now let's talk about the others. You call them middlemen. You started headlining in comedy clubs across the USA. All your middle acts are all famous today.
Yeah.
Drew Carey, Tim Allen, and Roseanne are three of your middleman group. You once said it was your curse. Headliner was out of the loop. Your first film was called The Burning. Jason Alexander, Holly Hunter, touche. The Burning was sure filled with horror. A guy treating his hernia with Bengay. Appearing on Mike Douglas' show was groundbreaking for you as well. Producer Alan Carr invited you to Mike's party to kiss and tell. The year was 1980. Natalie Wood and Ally McGraw, Dudley Moore and Mel Tillis made you drop your jaw. Stephanie Powers and Jack Lord, and the Hudson Brothers too. And famous Amos, the Cookie King, were at this party with you. You and Bob Saget in Carnegie. Gino Vanelli, you opened for. Holy crap, my friend, there's still so much more. You perform with a band I do love, a Beatles tribute band, Fab Four. You open with Ed Sullivan, and you leave them wanting more. You also do Johnny Carson, and a singer you are too. Christmas carols you write and sing, one a year for Roxanne, it's true. Your wife was a Playboy bunny and thought about law school. She did so well as a Playboy. F law, I'm way too cool. She made her parents proud, choose ears and a tail instead of cracking down on crime, and to you one day she'd wed.
Oh.
The proposal was on stage, over 1,000 guests were there. Let me get this straight. You proposed on stage to a hare. Get it, bunny?
Yeah.
Yeah. With a younger wife and son, Jarrett is his name. Youngest pro baseball coach is now his claim to fame. So cool. Even your mom designed dresses for TV shows. My little Margie, I remember, and your mom made her clothes. Your dad was cool as well. First a lawyer, then a judge. Became the youngest mayor, a story without a smudge. You just did a part in a movie, a Martin Scorsese film, it's true. The film is called The Irishman. Nixon playing golf was you. The stars in the film are crazy. They will leave you wanting more. Joe Pesci, Al Pacino, and De Niro, just nuts. Should I say more? One more thing I'd like to share. George Reeves is your guy. I loved him as Superman. He was sexy in the sky. I watched him 'cause he was cute, but a hero to you he was. Now I hear he's your friendly ghost. He haunts you just because. Your young hot wife keeps you young, but can you sing Elvis? I got stung. Jeff DeHart, I'm not done. One thing we all need to say. thank you for your service. A Vietnam vet is here today.
Oh, that's really, wow.
There you go.
I can keep this?
That's yours.
That's so nice. That's so, oh my gosh.
Okay?
I don't believe you did these.
Okay.
You're a
She
poet.
is
You don't know
she
it.
is just amazing, isn't she?
Yes. Exactly.
I love you. So let's talk
great.
about everything that's in there. I mean, tell everybody what you want them to know, first of all, about what's happening today with you. Let's talk about that first.
Well, mostly today I am touring with the Fab Four Beatle tribute band, doing Ed Sullivan. And if you ever get a chance to see them,
Yes.
wherever they are, I think they're going to be here in New Jersey in March. I don't know if I'll be doing Ed or not, but they'll be here in New Jersey.
Do you know when? Because I'll be in Florida in March.
I'm not sure. You could actually
All
probably
right,
go
I'll
on their
check it.
website.
I'll
and
check
pull
it out.
up. But yeah, if you ever get it, it's like watching a Beatles concert.
Insane.
They're amazing. They have a guy that plays George Harrison. His name is Gavin Pring. Gavin is from Liverpool,
Yep.
England, and he looks more like a young George
Unbelievable.
than George's son Donnie. And then we got a brand new John Lennon, who has just starting to join the group from England again. His name is Adam Hastings, and he's unbelievable too. Amazing. He's just great. And of course, the other guys are great too. We have a Joe Bologna who does Ringo Starr, and Artie Saraf who does a fabulous Paul McCartney. So it really is a great show.
I want to say something about the song Imagine. If you guys get a chance, Google him singing the song Imagine, the Fab Four, because it's unbelievable.
That would probably be, if you do Google it, it would be Ron McNeil. Now, Ron is the founder of the Fab Four, and he's just now, after about 20 years, starting to phase out and kind of semi-retire from.
No, I
performing.
heard the gentleman who's from Liverpool sing it.
Oh, did you? Yeah,
Yes.
Adam.
Yes.
Adam does a great job.
That
yeah, he's
was,
fabulous. And
I videotaped
he
it.
looks a lot
He looks
like
just
John.
like him.
Yeah.
But check it out because you will be blown away. When I play the video for people, I just pretend I'm playing the Beatles, and they all think it's the Beatles. And
Yeah.
when I show them, they're like, "You're kidding."
Adam is amazing. He's
Beautiful.
yeah, he's
So-
a good guy too, which is
So,
important.
so that's what's happening today with you with the Fab Four, who I love. So guys, check them out.
And then the Irishman. I said, "Don't blink or you'll miss me."
Tell us.
I play Nixon playing golf, and it was funny because I'm left-handed, and so Nixon was right-handed, and I had to learn how to play golf right-handed, and I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm out there trying to teach myself, and at one point they said, "Well, Jeff, you're going to have to do the hardest shot in golf. So we'll pay you to take a lesson." So they paid me to go take a lesson. So I get there on the day we shoot, and I had to hit out of a sand bunker onto the green. And they have the camera up there with the director and a cameraman and a dozen people on the green. And the director says, "Well, the first couple shots, we're just shooting from the waist up, so you don't need a golf ball. Just go through the motions." And then he says, "Okay, Jeff, here's the golf ball. We're going to use the golf ball." The cameraman walks up to the camera and flicks a switch, and everybody ran like hell out of the way because they didn't know where the heck the ball was going to go. It was like a mass exodus. It was hysterical. Oh, my God. But, yeah, that was fun.
So you don't play golf?
I played when I was 18 a little
Okay.
bit. But, of course, when they asked, "Jeff, do you play golf?" I said, "Well, certainly."
Of course, of course.
Can you climb Mount Everest? Certainly. I can do
Absolutely.
it.
So
You always say yes.
can you say your line in the movie as?
I'm just playing golf. I
You
don't
don't
even
talk?
do anything. I just play on the golf course with the, yeah. I didn't even have a line.
I would have fought.
But I can say,
Go ahead.
I should have been able to say, "Good evening, my fellow Americans. This is Richard Milhouse Nixon for H&R Block.
For H&R.
Why do your own income tax? Why not let us do it for you? Now, this is reason number 10. If after I've done your income tax, the Internal Revenue calls you in for an audit, tough tootsies. We'll drive you to jail. We know the way."
All right, so that was really good. What's your favorite one to do?
Favorite one to do? Maybe Johnny Carson. You know, I
Yeah,
miss
let's hear
Johnny.
that. I want to hear that one because
So
I was,
let's
a
do
big,
it.
I was a big Carson fan. And you have to
You
do
know,
the whole.
and I'll tell you a funny thing. A lot of people did see me do them. You know, I mean, I've done Robin for Robin Williams and
so
Rodney for
great.
Rodney and everything, but I never got to do Johnny. And I was working in Vegas one time for a whole week at the Sahara, and the maitre d' kept saying, "Carson's in here all the time. He's got to see you. He's got to see you." Then about 2 a.m. It's a last show in the night and everything. He says, "Carson's here. Carson's here. He's out in the hallway. We're going to get him." Unfortunately, he was talking with the owner and never got in to see the show.
No.
But the only thing I will say is I know he's seen me do Rod Serling because I had a commercial for Parker Brothers Game Boggle. And when it was out, I'm doing Rod Serling from the Twilight Zone, you know. And he apparently, I didn't see this, but somebody said, "Johnny was talking about you last night." He was saying, you know, "Did you see this new commercial coming out? Did you see this guy doing Serling?" And, you know, anyway. So he didn't see me do Johnny, but Johnny, are you ready? You're ready for this biggie? There's a physicist in New York City. I don't know if you heard about this, Jerry. He has an idea for a high-speed subway, which would go from New York to Los Angeles and travel at 6,000 miles an hour. Just an idea. Could you imagine if they went ahead with it? First trip, halfway across the country, engineer comes on. He says, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we're going to arrive in Los Angeles 5 minutes ahead of schedule. The bad news is we can't stop. See you. Right. There's Johnny.
You're amazing.
That's very, very good.
Doc G is in the building.
My,
This is Doc G. The owner, one of the owners of Hamilton Radio. He started this over 20 years ago, so you will get to meet him when we're done with this show.
Cool.
Okay, so what else? It's your show. Listen,
You
I'm
know,
just so blown away. Do someone else.
Oh, my God. Let's see. Who else? What do you want to...
Anyone.
Well, let's see.
the thing I like about it is that you actually not just do the voice,
I know.
but you also do
Yes.
the mannerism with it,
Oh,
with the
yeah.
neck, like because he
yeah,
acted
it's
almost
crazy.
like an ostrich.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
with
know
the,
what's
with
funny?
the, with the head bobbing,
Crazy,
the whole
right?
thing, right?
Oh, yeah. One of the ones I was the first one to do and was David Brenner. May he rest in peace. You know, he's a Philly
He's a
boy.
local
He's not
guy,
far
right?
from...
Local
Yeah.
guy, yeah.
And I'll never forget, David would host the Tonight Show occasionally. So when I first moved out to California, and I would do David Brenner. I was on the street and I meet, what's his name from Barney Miller? He was David's
Al
best
Linden?
friend. No, one of the other
Dave
cops.
Pagoda.
No. No, you're doing good though,
All right,
Scott. Come
trying
on.
to keep thinking him.
Oh my
Al
God,
Linden.
Steve Landisberg.
Oh, Steve Landisberg, yeah.
We bump into Steve Landisberg
right.
on the street, another comic and I, and we're talking, and he goes, "You're the guy that does Brenner." Because they had the same manager. Rick Bernstein was their manager. And he goes, "Come on, do Brenner." He's got me doing Brenner on Santa Monica Boulevard. But I had said to David when I first came out, I went to see him host the Tonight Show, and he goes, "How you doing out here? How you doing out here, you know?" And I said, "Oh, I'm doing good." I said, "They love you," meaning my impression of you. And he goes, "Nobody does me like you. You do the best me." You know?
That is so great.
Right here, let's see. One of my
my
favorite.
gosh.
Little Jack Nicholson. Hey, I gotta tell you, 6 o'clock this morning. I'm sorry about that, Jerry. There's a knock on my front door. There's a couple of Jehovah's Witnesses there. I said, "Come on in. Have a seat here in my living room. Can I get you a cup of coffee?" I said, "What would you like to talk about?" They said, "I don't know. We never got this far before."
I have a question. All right.
I hope I have the answer.
All right. He even looked like him.
Well, because I study constantly voices and people who impersonate, and it's part of it. But he has the voice down. He has the voice, but the mannerisms also go with it.
Right. Well,
And-
some of
and
them,
that's what-
I
Through radio, you can't really see that.
No,
I mean, but on stage, you're going to see that, and that adds so much
yeah.
to the
That was
impersonation.
incredible.
Yeah, when
That's why when somebody says, "Jeff, you know who you look like?" I never know what the heck they're gonna
Oh my
say.
God.
well, you look a lot, really. You truly do look a lot like Rod Serling.
Right.
Did
Yeah.
that
Well,
stuff-
you know, with Rod, it's a lot of it's this. You know, you're traveling through another dimension.
Great.
There's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the GERI show. No, it's
Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
also the cadence, and he'll
Oh,
tell,
yeah,
he'll
a
tell
lot
you,
of
he'll
it's
tell-
with that,
the
yeah.
cadence of the voice of how their speech pattern, and singers are the same way. They have a certain way they phrase things.
It's just so amazing when I listen to you guys. So, all right, let's talk about some of the stars you met.
oh god.
That's insane. Natalie Wood, tell me.
Well, I mean, I knew I started in 1976. So, I mean, I used to wait online at the Improv with people like Joe Piscopo, and I knew Jerry Seinfeld before
Oh,
he made it,
Seinfeld.
and I knew all of them. Then when I moved out to L.A., David Letterman was still emceeing at the Comedy Store. I actually lived in the same building with Dave.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. There's a funny story. We were working in the Comedy Store in La Jolla, my first time working there. And this is how long ago this was. The show consisted of a guy named Argus Hamilton, who's still doing comedy at the Comedy Store, me, David Letterman, and the headliner was Gary Muldeer. And it was about about 12 o'clock at midnight. We wanted to go get something to eat. So Dave says, come on, I'll drive. And I'm figuring, hey, he's been writing for Bob Hope. He's been doing the Tonight Show. He should have this beautiful Mercedes. We go out there in the parking lot, and he goes, there's my car. And he points to this dumpy old pickup truck, which he still has.
Oh, it really
And-
was. I thought it was being funny.
No, and we're
Okay.
driving around the richest resort in the country in this dumpy
I love
pickup
that.
truck, and everything in La Jolla closes at like 10 o'clock. So we wound up at this Jack in the Box. I don't know if you know it. That's like a
Yes.
Burger King.
We used to have. Do you know that?
Yeah,
defunct now.
We used to have them.
Oh yeah, all
Out of
right.
business.
We're there at 1 a.m. Nobody's there, and this one kid behind the counter. He it took us 45 minutes to feed three of us. He could only take one order at a time. It was like Dave would say, "Give me a hamburger, fries, and a Coke." Hamburger, fries, Coke, and then he walked away, and the other two of us are sitting there going, "What?" 10 minutes goes by, he comes back, we figure, oh, they're going to take our order now. Was that a Coke? And it took us 45 minutes. I later, about 10 years later, reminded Dave about it, and he goes, oh, I remember that night. But yeah, Dave, I knew, oh my God, like I said, all of them, Robin Williams, Jay Leno. Funny story about Jay, my son, who's 24 now, when Jarrett was 12, we actually went to the Tower Theater to see Bob Saget.
Okay.
And Bob and I are best friends. We had the same manager for years. Harvey Weinstein was our first
Oh
manager.
wow.
There you go.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Brad Gray, Harvey and Brad Gray, and then we later went.
How's
with
he
Brad.
doing now?
I have no idea. I don't
I'm talking
keep
about
it-
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, hey, I know you are. That's what I mean. I said, I don't know. You never hit on me. But
Oh my god.
so anyway, we go to see Bob, and my son calls him Uncle Bob. Dad, when you come home, tell me some of Uncle Bob's jokes. Well, if you've ever seen Bob, and Bob is great to see in person, but you better, not be a prude, because he
No.
is like
Raunchy.
filthy beyond filthy.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, and I'm thinking, and I look at my wife, and I said, we can't tell Jared any of this stuff. So after the show was over, we're getting ready to go out and eat, me and Bob in the opening act, and my wife. And I said, Bob, before we go anywhere, Jared thinks I'm coming home and telling your jokes. So he says, okay, and he calls him up at home, and he goes, Jared, it's Uncle Bob. Your dad can't tell you anything I said. I'm sorry, I'll make it up. The next year, we go to visit Jay Leno in Atlantic City, and Jay is very clean. So I took Jared, And after
Okay.
the show, we're talking, and so Jay asked my son, he goes, how old are you now, Jared? Jared says, 13, Jay. And Jay goes, you come back in a couple years. I'll tell you some wild stories about your old man. So I said, I think we got to go. So then about 5 years later, I'm working in Vegas, and Jay's in town. So I go to visit him. And I said, Jay, remember the last time I saw you? I said, remember what you said to Jarrett? He's 18 now. And he goes, he's still too young.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But,
Oh my gosh, all these amazing people.
one of my idols, I
One
met.
second.
Oh, sure.
Gino, the TV screen, it doesn't have my logo? I think it's off.
Oh, you can't do without the logo.
We need the logo.
You need the
Make fun of
logo.
us.
That's Paul Lynn.
That's Paul Lynn.
I know
That's right.
Paul. You think I don't know Paul Lynn? I know Paul Lynn, baby. Do it.
I'm having such a great time here tonight. I sure wish I put my pants on.
I can't take it.
I am having fun by the way. I shave for this, you know.
I can't take
I
it.
even changed my underwear. This is a big night. This is really this is a big night for me. I'm
can't
just
take it.
kidding. I didn't change my underwear. Oh, so one of my biggest idols. Well, I was working in Vegas when they were filming Rain Man, and a friend of mine was opening for Smokey Robinson, and every night Barry Levinson, Tom Cruise, and Dustin Hoffman would go over to see the show. So he got real friendly, and he said, "Jeff, come on the set, and we'll have fun and everything." So I got to meet Dustin Hoffman, and in fact, the scene where they're winning all the money gambling, I was standing behind the camera when they were filming it, and Dustin's kids, his little kids at the time, were coloring at his feet in crayons and stuff. And then I wanted to meet Bob Hope, my all-time favorite.
You never did.
No, I did. But a friend of mine was taping Golden Girls, and Bob, we go to watch him tape. We're there in the studio, backstage, watching. So Bob Hope's on the show, but they told everybody, don't go bother him, leave him alone.
I would have bothered him.
Well, my wife bothered him. Wait till you hear
Yes.
this. This is so cute. So
Yes.
they took a break, and my wife's missing for 20 minutes. She comes back. What happened was she followed Bob Hope out to his cabana. They had little cabanas, and he was right next to Betty White's cabana. So she's standing there, and Betty White's fumbling with her purse and car keys trying to get into her car, and she calls my wife over. "Come here, honey. Hold my purse a second. Well, yeah." The next thing you know, she's in Betty's cabana. Betty's autographing a picture. She walks out, bumps into Bob Hope. Now, my wife's a beautiful girl, so, and Bob's got an eye, Of course, all she says, "Oh, Mr. Hope, my husband, he's a comedian. He's your, sure, honey, here you go," signs an autograph. So I didn't get to meet him, though. So it was like, mixed emotions, like watching your mother-in-law drive your new car off the cliff, like that. I'm just kidding. I had a good mother-in-law. But then on Bob's 86th birthday, he was on the Tonight Show with Jay. So I called Jay up, and we actually played phone tag. I find he goes, yeah. You want to meet the old man? Calls him the old man. Yeah, come to my dressing room. I'll introduce you. And this shows you what a great guy Jay Leno is. We're backstage. It's 5 minutes before he's going on in front of 50 million people to do his monologue, and he's going, "Did you meet Bob Hope? Did you meet him?" "Well, no, he's not around." "Come on, we'll go look for him. He's got to be here. He lives down the street." He's worried about whether I'm going to meet Bob Hope or not. And I said, "Jay, I'll meet him. I go to work. He's like 2 minutes. But
I
was
want to
always
meet
impressed.
Jay Leno.
Yeah, Jay's great.
Let it happen.
Yeah, you got to go see him when he's in
With
Atlantic City.
you.
Oh, with me?
Yes.
Well, we'll have to go see him when
Call
he's in Atlantic
him.
City. Yes,
Call him now.
yeah. Call him
Imagine
now.
calling Jay Leno from the Jerry Petito Show. "Hey, Jay, how you doing?"
Hey, how you doing? Hey, Rocky. How you
Rocky.
doing? How you
Do
doing?
Rocky.
Hey, absolutely. I thought they should redo The Wizard of Oz and have Rocky would be like the Scarecrow. Hey, Dorothy, don't go back to Kansas, because stay with us, because we love you. And if you're lucky tonight, all three of us will love you, you know what I mean?
I'm just in awe.
I was the first one to do Rocky.
You were?
In 76, when I started out, that's when Rocky came out.
Wait, you were really the first one to do Rocky?
Yeah.
Hold that thought. So, I am a huge Rocky fan. I have to tell the story.
Go ahead.
And now I love you even more. Look. He was the first one to do Rocky.
Let's do a banner between he'll do Rocky and I'll do Burgess Meredith.
Do it.
So what did Rocky say to him? What was one of the lines?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, Mick, cut me, Mick.
Rock, you're nothing but a bum rock.
Oh, my gosh. Wait, do more. Do one more.
Oh, come on, Mick. What are you talking about? You never gave me no respect. You know what I mean?
I put you up against tomato cans. That's all you were.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? Burgess Meredith was married to my favorite actress at one point, Claudette Colbert. I love her. Yeah.
You guys just made my night.
That's a voice that's that
Yeah.
type of raspy. Type
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
You know,
And they eat thunder and crop thunder and eat lightning and crop thunder.
crap thunder.
That was so cool.
So now that was and something that was completely unscripted,
That was so cool.
like which is shows you this guy's got a tremendous amount of talent. He just does a tremendous amount of talent. I don't say that often.
Oh my
Thank you. I
gosh.
appreciate it.
I do. Honest to God, you really do. You really
I
do.
told you will
No,
love it.
you're excellent. Absolutely
Okay.
excellent. Because I listen to a lot of in person. My favorite guy that I listen to isn't a really fairly well-known guy, but I'm sure you know him. His name is Craig Gass. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
See, a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
And when you go home, Google him.
Okay.
And he's probably got about 8 or 9 of them that are like freaky. He does Christopher Walken and Morgan Freeman and some ones that are just like spooky.
All
Really
right,
spooky.
so guys, do something else for me. So, who else is like a team that you guys could do?
He
Oh,
did
I know
that,
Dean
did
Martin and Jerry Lewis. Who
Dean
does
Martin?
what? Who does what?
Jerry Lewis. I'm trying to think. My forte is not really.
Can you do Dean
speaking.
Martin?
I've never even tried.
Well, you can sing. It's like oh, everybody loves somebody sometime. Right, Jerry? That's right, Dean. Hallelujah.
Right. Yeah. So it was Jerry Lewis. Right. I've never even attempted.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
so
I do a joke about it in my act, because I said, doing impressions can come in handy. Like, and this is semi based on a true story.
Okay.
Years ago, Bob Saget and I were doing a show down near Camp Pendleton. And actually, it was kind of neat. A lot of young Marines came to the show. And they were so polite, and respectful. Before the show, they're talking to you, and everything they said was, yes, sir, no, sir. Even during the show, when they heckled you, it was, you suck, sir, which was, nice. So we finish our job, and we're driving up the freeway, and I said, I'm driving. And I get pulled over by the California Highway Patrol for speeding, And I figured maybe Jerry Lewis will get
This
me out of
is
this.
great.
So I rolled it. I rolled the window down. He looks in. He goes, you were doing 87 miles an hour? I said, 87 miles an hour? I didn't even know I was driving the car. I did not get a ticket. I got arrested, is what happened, and he shot Bob.
Yeah.
But that was semi-true story.
Listen, you got to do the same thing if you get pulled over. I show my gold card. Oh well, but I wish I could do that.
I got pulled over in a car, and like it was my fault.
Are you? Let me.
If it was my fault, I have a really crazy, freaky voice.
All right, let's hear it.
Well, it sounds something like this. It's pretty crazy.
So
I'd let you go if I was the cop.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
And so what the hell happened here? Something happened to my throat, man. I'm suing you.
that'd be,
my gosh.
and that is. I don't even know how I do that. I don't
So
have a clue.
great.
I don't have a clue. But it's just a voice that I can do.
Can you gentlemen do females?
I don't know how to quite answer that question.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was a
I'm a happily
loaded,
married man.
loaded
Please,
question.
are you kidding me?
gosh.
It truly was.
Wait, I got it. Wait, I got
Okay.
to. I'll tell you a real quick
Okay.
story with do females. When I worked the cruise ships, my wife, by the way, is the best sport. She has not a jealous bone in her body.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and so I was about 15 years ago. I get on this ship, and there's all these beautiful young British girls on the ship. They were dancers on the ship. And I'm in the cruise director's office, and one of these girls is in there, and she says, what are you here for? And I said, I'm the comedian on the ship. And she goes, how long are you on the ship for? I said, 2 weeks. And she goes, too bad. I'd like to get to know you better. And then, I think I can use this word. We're eating dinner and all the entertainers, and this is a true story. The girl leans, she's right across the table from me. She looks right across the table at me, and she goes, you know something? I am so horny I could jump on a water buffalo. And all I could say was, moo!
Yeah.
But I tell my wife and she laughs. She
Of
just
course.
laughs. But that's true.
Listen,
That's a true story.
Your wife sounds amazing.
Yeah,
and,
she's
you
a good
know,
girl.
Come on.
Yeah, she's amazing.
All right.
I think the only female that I do. My wife doesn't like it when I do the female voices. I don't know. I've attempted to do some. I've
what?
done well. The only one she does it better than me, but she can't right now. We do with Edith and Archie. Bunker.
Oh,
with
I
it.
heard that.
Geez, there, Edith. Huh? Right away, Archie. But she does it when we do the song.
Yes.
And the first time we actually attempted it, I literally, it was like I almost dropped my mic because she had never tried it. And I was like, go get the phone.
Yeah.
Go get the cell phone because that is, she's just come into your body.
Oh my God.
And it was really, and we
And I
have,
heard
and we
you
have
guys do that.
we
That
have a
was
video
awesome.
of it. We
Yes.
have a video of it. And my Archie's like average at best. And her Edith is like, and everybody was saying, man, that's Edith. Everybody, she's lip syncing. That's Edith Bunker. And it was great. She hasn't been able to do it
Yeah.
since she lost her voice. You know,
Yeah.
it comes and goes with what's going on with her.
Right.
But you know, we sang a little bit Sunday together, and she did. We did Neil Diamond and Barbra Streisand, and she did that one really good.
Wow.
That was still in her wheelhouse. The No More, You Don't Bring Me Flowers Anymore, which was really good. And I really miss her performing. I really do,
Right.
because it adds so much to the show. She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
You know, and when she's right, she can sing. She can sing with anybody.
That's right.
She can. She's got a great voice.
Sings amazing.
Yeah, she's got a great voice. Really does, and it's a shame. And the whole time she was performing, she always never thought she was any good. And then when she looks back at the stuff she did, she's like, "Wow, I was good.
Amazing,
gotta be
Deb.
honest.
I was
Right?
good.
It's like-
I was really good." And
No,
I said,
Dave,
I
you're
kept telling you
amazing.
that. I said, "I'm not going to let you up on stage with me if you can't sing." And she could. She really did. You know, and it really shows the power of like her and I. We did a video of her, why she temporarily got her voice back, of her and I doing Jackson by Johnny Cash.
Oh, I love
Jimmy
that.
Carter.
I've heard you
And
guys do
it's
that.
got 250,000 views in 2 months.
I love that.
You know, it's got 200.
What'd she do to her voice? What happened?
She had Lyme's disease, and
Oh.
then she got Lyme's
And it
disease.
affected the
Wait,
voice.
It affected her thyroid. It threw her
Oh.
thyroid, which is in your
Yeah, yeah.
near your vocal cords.
Oh, boy.
And it threw her thyroid way out of whack, and she literally lost her vocal ability overnight. And it comes and goes periodically. And if she puts any pressure on it whatsoever, it like goes away.
Oh, boy.
So she can't practice.
Oh.
You know, and it's like, you know, you don't want to get her up there cold. We don't know when it's going to come back or when it's not. You know,
Yeah.
she had it for about 40 minutes on Sunday where we practiced some things, and then the next day it was, you know, just trashed. Her voice was
Wow.
trashed again, you know. But she will be running things for me next Saturday night at Prospectors. She'll be running all the music and the sets and everything else like that. So
Tell
she'll be good.
everybody local where you're going to be.
Yeah,
Saturday.
I'll be next Saturday night, which is February 9th. I will be at Prospectors in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And I go on at 9 o'clock. And it's going to be a show of where I just showcase many famous, mostly country artists that night. I don't know that they want me to break out into, it's a country place. So probably just mostly country people. Unless the crowd demands I do Neil Young or James Taylor or Bob Seger or whoever I want to do. You know.
So, and February 11th, Monday night.
Yeah, and then February
You're
11th, I'm
also
going to be
at Friendly's.
I'll be at Friendly's.
Yep.
Friendly's doing. Man, I'm sure I'll be doing some Elvis there, man.
So we're having part 2 of this incredible fundraiser. Who Cares What Most Angels Do is the book that we helped get published for Judy Hurtado, and this book is going to be distributed all over to children's wards and hospitals. The second fundraiser is to get enough books to send them in Mercer County to the children's wards. Okay? We've got some amazing entertainers coming out for this as well. And after tonight's show, guys, we're going to Friendly's. I'm hoping you can make it. It's got to do a Fribble tour.
When tonight?
Yes.
I cannot make
Okay,
it tonight.
so it's you and me tonight at
Okay.
Friendly's. We're going to do it. Doc G, is there anything you would like to ask?
I think both guys are phenomenal.
Do you want to hear anyone?
Oh, why would you?
You put us
How
on.
about the guy that started my whole thing? Are you a James Taylor fan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Wait, before you do that.
Go ahead,
Can
I'll
you
just
do
get it
James
ready.
Taylor as well?
I don't do James.
Oh, because I was going to have a conversation. All right. Go ahead. This is so cool to me.
I do James Mason, but that's not.
There you go, James Mason.
James Mason, yes.
That's excellent.
It is excellent.
That's
right?
excellent. Yes, that's really, really
Why don't
good.
you do James Taylor? You do James Mason. And have a conversation. Come on, guys, entertain me.
Well, James had a voice something like this when he was very young, but his voice changed.
And he probably realizes that too. As people age, a lot of times their vocals will change.
Yeah.
Neil Diamond, I do 3 genres of Neil Diamond. There was young Neil Diamond where his voice wasn't really super deep. And then middle Neil Diamond where he was kind of deep. And then now it's scratchy old Neil Diamond. And
Yeah,
I can
but-
do all of them where he sang those songs
Yeah,
in
but
time.
don't you guys want to do like the one that everyone knows the most?
And that's what I do in the show, and I'm sure that's what he does.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a new movie coming out called Stan and Ollie. Oh yeah. Do you guys know that?
Yes.
In fact,
I didn't know
our
the movie, Stan
our
and
new
Ollie.
John
How about
Lennon,
that?
Adam Hastings, he's the one that told me about it. He's like the world's. This guy's only 30, and he's such a big Laurel and Hardy fan. He has tattoos of Ollie and Stan and Ollie on his arms. I said, "What the heck?" You know. But he told me about that. It's Stan and Ollie about Laurel and Hardy, and it's kind of neat because this generation doesn't even know them, and.
My daughters know.
Yeah, that's good. Then you know.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
You're doing good teaching them that, or no, you know. But yeah.
Laurel and Hardy. Wow.
Hey, Ollie. Remember how dumb I used to be? Well, certainly. Well, I'm better now. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing them. I hear the actors did a great
You guys
job.
are amazing to me. You playing something for us?
Yeah, I'll play a.
Okay.
I'll play a.
We have a phone call? Oh.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're going to sing it again.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. Walked out this morning and I wrote down the song. And I just can't remember who to send it to. And I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again.
So that's a little bit of James Taylor.
That was so good. Oh my goodness. I'm in awe.
Now that's the voice that I got up never singing ever, and I did that song, and literally within, I would say, 5 to 6 seconds, there was 15 to 20 cell phones that were out. You know, I'm just up there with a mic and singing it, and people was like, they're like looking at me, you know, and that's when I didn't even really hear it back because no one showed it to me. No one really said much to me except for I had to do it. And then a month later it was posted on a Facebook post, and people were like, "Man, what is that? How'd you? It looks like you're singing it, but it can't be you."
It's
You know,
amazing.
yeah, and you know, then it just took off from there, where I realized, you know, I could do, you know, a lot of
Voices.
a lot of yeah, singing voices. Some I can do a little bit of like Arnold Schwarzenegger. But one of my favorite ones that I do, like, so a lot of shows that I do, they'll ask me to do a raffle, and I'm sure he's been involved with this too, where you got to pick the 50-50s and all that kind of stuff at the shows. So I will do celebrity guests, and one of my favorites is Robin Leach. So we had a snowstorm years ago in Buffalo where we got 7 feet of snow. And this was like on 3 or 4 years ago where they had 7 feet of snow in Buffalo. So I picked up the little ticket, and I was to announce the prize. So I said,
And tonight, you've got an all-expense-paid trip to Buffalo, New York. Make sure you bring your sunglasses and beach towels and beach chairs.
so, and that gets a big
Yes.
rouse out of the crowd. The crowd likes that, and So I add some speaking voices and some celebrities in there, in along with the singing, and I really want to get him. I got to listen to him because that would, I think, add a lot to my show if I could introduce some singers as Ed Sullivan, because so many, sure. I mean, it really is, and
tape something after the show.
I need to tape something of you singing it or saying it, so I can just keep working on it, on that Ed
So
Sullivan.
I have an idea about that.
Ed Sullivan.
We can have you give a shout out to the Jerry Petito show on HamiltonRadio.net as Ed Sullivan, and then you'll have it. Would you do that for us?
Yeah, let me hear it. Go ahead. Say it's the really big.
Look into the camera.
Really? Oh, all right.
There you go.
Well, now, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our really, really, really big show. Tonight, you're going to be watching the Jerry Petito Show right here from Hamilton, New Jersey, the garden spot of America, right here.
That's
Okay,
great.
so that's
so
so
great.
cool.
I definitely have to copy that so I can use that for
Now
my.
you can watch tonight's show.
And just listen
over and over and
just
over,
listen and
Scott.
start taping myself. And I'm sure that's how you got a lot of your impersonations. How I do it, you tape yourself doing.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Right, and then you listen to it back.
Most of them. That's what I would
Correct,
do. I would
correct.
work with tape.
Right.
Even more so than video. Of course, when I first started, there wasn't really that much. You couldn't watch video.
Right.
So it was all tape.
Did you look into like a mirror in the bathroom?
No, but David Fry used to do that.
Oh.
I think he used to go into the bathroom. Do you ever hear that? Yeah. And he would, I tell you a funny story. I met the first year in '76 when I started. I went to see David Fry at Dangerfields, and he said, "Come on, kid, I'll take you out. We're going out." We went to P.J. Clark's restaurant, and who do we bump into but Mort Saul and Mark Russell? And the three of us we're all sitting there, and I just was like a kid in a candy store, so I just let them talk and everything. And it was kind of funny because David Fry, even in his act, when he got angry, whatever character he was doing, before you knew it, he was doing Nixon, because he would get mad. And they're all talking, and David Fry says something about, who's done the Tonight Show lately? Have you done Johnny Carson lately? I haven't done Johnny Carson. You know why? I'll tell you why. Remember when Johnny was in the hospital? I didn't go see him. That's why I'm not doing. He was. Before you knew it, he's doing and the other two guys are just sitting there going, "Okay, David, Yeah.
I have a question for both of you. So, do you ever find yourself, because this would be really cool for me to see this happen, do you ever find yourself out anywhere, grocery store, anywhere, it doesn't even matter, and all of a sudden, like, you go up to random people and do someone? Do you ever do that?
When I first started, which is I'm very new to this. I mean, it's my 7th year. I basically, when I first started, I was so nervous. Okay. So I tried to make myself immune to the nerves. So all my clients got to hear me sing, because I just wanted to get over the nerves. So I forced them to listen to me, whether they wanted to or not, to just get rid of the nerves. So, but no, I don't. I mean, I'm asked to do it now, but I don't volunteer it.
What about you? Do you do it?
Well, when I first started at Catch a Rising Star, there was a comedian who did some impressions. She was a sweet little blonde, and she did a Gracie Allen. And like she and I would go across the street, whatever, to get some ice cream, and we'd be just standing there, and she would start doing Gracie, and I would do George. I don't know what kind of ice cream I want, George. What do you think I should get? I don't know, Gracie. Why don't you get a strawberry? You love strawberry. And we'd go back and forth like that, and people. The one thing I do remember doing, now you make me think of these things. I did a TV show years ago called No Soap Radio. Steve Guttenberg was on. It was like very short-lived. It was about 7 weeks. Crazy show. And we did the Marx Brother wedding.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so I was the priest dressed as Mark Groucho. And we had a male, a bride, groom, and best man, and all Groucho. And we got made up, and then we had some time to kill, so all of us went out the street on Gower Street outside, and we were like thumbing rides as cars went by just to see people's reaction, to the Groucho.
Oh my God.
And there's a funny story I could tell you with that, but I can't use one of the words that, but I'll remind me after the show.
Okay.
About
Okay.
Groucho.
So do some Groucho.
Well, I don't know if I could do Groucho. You're just my type, a woman. I can fall madly in bed with you, Jerry. I'll tell you that right now. I'd like to challenge you to a nap. What do you say?
This is so cool, right? What do you think?
Very, very talented.
My uncle was visiting my aunt in UCLA Medical Center years ago when Groucho was in at the same time. And, he always had an answer. He meets him in the elevator and he goes, "Oh, hello, Mr. Marks. How you doing?" He says, "What are you, the house detective?" He says to him. And he met him another time. "How you feeling, Mr. Marks?" And he goes, "If I was feeling good, I wouldn't be here." But he would go around and entertain all the other patients. It was kind of cute, but yeah.
This is just, okay, so this is so much fun for me.
You want to hear Rod Stewart?
Let's do it. Yes.
A little bit of Rod Stewart. It's one of my new ones. I just started doing him.
All right, I'll close my eyes.
I just started doing him a couple weeks ago, and I'll just give you the first thing.
I'll close my eyes.
Have I told you lately that I love you? And have I told you there's no one else above you?
So that's a little bit of Rod Stewart.
How do you guys do it? Like, all right, let me ask you this.
Before you ask,
Okay.
you made me think of a Rod Stewart. One of my good friends was a juggler, and his wife worked at one time for Rod's ex-wife. What was her name? Alana?
Rachel Hunter.
No, there was the other one.
I don't remember. She had a few of them.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but she said Rod would call up every once in a while to want to speak to his ex-wife, and he goes, "Where's the old battle axe?" He'd call it the old battle axe. I know, just little Rod Serling, Rod Stewart. Yeah,
So-
battle axe.
All right, so I have a question. So I can't imagine being able to do that. All right? You're sitting here and you're sitting here.
Right.
And you guys...
I'm standing, actually. I'm very short.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know that.
And you guys have just done some amazing voices. I could understand to a point if you perfected one and that was your life. Like, I could see somebody learning that one person's voice. You know what I mean, Doc G? How do you go from voice to voice to voice to voice? And it's amazing. I don't understand that.
Well, like Scott said, you just sit in there and you study them on tape over and over and over.
No, but how do you know that? But no.
The only way you really know,
right?
The only way you really know what you sound like is when you listen to yourself
No.
back.
How do you? No, that's not what I'm asking. How do you know how to do it?
You have to have, and I'm sure this is what Jeff has. You have to have a really good ear, and that's where it starts with. So
But
you have
how
to
do
be
you know what
you
to
have to be
do
able to
in
manipulate
here?
your vocal
Wait,
cords.
you know what? It's not even. I don't even know if it's a conscious thing. Sometimes it depends on who you are, how you do it. But yeah, sometimes, like you were saying earlier, Scott. Sometimes you can work off of a voice you already know, like you were saying Kermit the Frog.
Absolutely.
Oh, and or like you could say I can do Clark Gable, and if President Eisenhower sounded a little like Clark Gable, But you see, there's a
and it's so true.
Believe it
because
or not,
I've
that's
gotten you get voices from other voices.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get it.
I got Joe Cocker. I did him for a long time, and then one day I tried to do Ray Charles, and I was like, wow, it's very. You wouldn't think it was a similar voice, but it is. Ray was I said Georgia, and it's just it's a raspy sound, and there's
Georgia?
I said Georgia.
I used to do Ray Charles as a geography teacher.
Do it.
Georgia, Georgia. Where the hell is Georgia? You can't see. That's just the.
Oh my God.
I think you heard me do it. The one that people get the biggest kick out of. There's two of them that people get the kick out of, and I went to West Virginia this year, and I was playing at a very country place. I mean, you can't get any more country than West Virginia. And my wife says, please don't do this song. They won't like it. And I said, well, I'm going to do it. I think they made me sing this song 3 times.
Okay.
And it's Boris Bobby Pickett, the Monster Mash.
Oh, do it.
I was working in my lab late one night, me eyes beholding eerie sight. My monster from the slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash.
You know, there's a comic named Bruce Baum. He and I were working in Houston. And back then, the Cars were real popular. Right. And I forget which of the Cars songs, but he took that song and sang the Monster Mash to that song. You probably...
Yeah, I think I remember that.
Yeah. It was just so funny how he picked that up, but it was the exact same song. It was like the Monster Mash.
Yeah.
And the Cars song. I forget which one it was, but...
Problem.
my goodness.
Maybe let the good times roll. That would
No.
be, no.
It wasn't that one. Yeah, think about it. You'll
But I
come
want to tell you, most of the comedians that you're mentioning, nobody knows who they are. I mean, I do.
I do.
Well, my guests know who they are. You know, my...
No, but I'm saying a lot of people...
Most people I do are dead. You have
But a
to
lot of
understand
younger
that.
people.
And that's what they call me, too. I'm the
Yeah.
dead singer.
Oh,
Well,
no.
they're all dead, you know.
They're all dead.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking to non-famous people like Bruce Baum or, the other guys.
Oh, true.
A lot of people don't even know who
Well, Mort Saul and Mark Russell were very famous political humorists. They were the Will Rogers of the 50s and 60s and 70s and stuff. Yeah, Mort Saul.
So, guys, we're coming to the close of the show. We still have some time, but I usually like to take this time and just let everybody know what's going on, and then we'll have my guests wrap up. We'll have you do another song and tell everyone what you want them to know, and same thing here. You haven't sang for me yet because I would like to hear you sing. So, what's happening
gotta
here?
sing?
Well, I would like you to do something like, I mean, Christmas songs. I mean, come on. So, what's happening here is with me. I'd like to share this real quick. I'm on 3 networks now, guys. I'm on Beverly Nation, Talk Shoe Radio every other Monday night at 10 p.m. You can find me next Monday night. I'm on PANJ Radio the first Wednesday of every month at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And then, of course, Hamilton Radio, my first love, right here, every Tuesday at 5 p.m. We are going to be moving into our new building very soon. I am so excited. I can't even tell you, all right? Brand new building, just beautiful studio. So I'm very excited about that. Guys, we're going to have 3 rooms there, right, Gino?
Well, 2 studios,
Yes.
1 sound room.
Okay, 2 studios.
How about a bathroom?
And
Okay.
1 sound room. So what I'm saying is, if anyone out there, any one of you, is interested in having a show, contact me. If anyone is interested in being a sponsor, please contact me, because what we're doing is huge. And guys, listen, not only is it huge, Hamilton Radio, our shows help so many people. What we have done, what I have done personally through Hamilton Radio, I can't even, it's just been unbelievable what God has done for me through my shows. We help so many people. We will give you avenues for addiction. I'm now, an addiction coach, a recovery coach. I'm a nutritional health coach. There's so much we can do to help you guys, okay? So get in touch with us. If you want to be a sponsor, we would love it. And if you're interested in having a show, we can talk to you about that as well, all right? The building is beautiful, guys, and it's almost ready. Hopefully in 30 to 60, definitely in 60 days, but hopefully in 30 days, we want to be in there. So having said that, my fundraiser, Monday, February 11th, Friendlies in Robbinsville. Please call and reserve your table, because it's going fast. The first part of this fundraiser, we had people standing, and we don't want to have that happen. Okay, guys? So call and reserve a table. The fundraiser's off the charts as well. So, Scott, tell everyone out there, once again, any information you want them to know about you, and then we'll play one more of your songs.
Just that you can find me, and there's probably at least 100 videos on that fan page, and just share them. Invite your friends to like the page. We're getting close to 40,000 people following me in about 15 months. So, just keep sharing. Invite your friends. Share the videos. I do now get paid for all my videos that I do, so I get paid per view for the videos now. So it's not a lot of money, but I got monetized about a month and a half ago.
That's so cool.
So every view that I get on Facebook now is all they pay me
That's
for.
so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
beautiful.
So we have some.
Okay.
You got to get lots of views.
Lots of views. I love Scott. I
Lots
love
of
Debbie.
views.
Please view his videos.
Yep.
We're
Share them
gonna
with your friends.
Play another song. What song would you
want to
like?
hear Louis Armstrong and Kermit, little Louis and Kermit?
Yes. Yes,
All right,
yes.
all right.
Before we play a song. Yes, I love
All right,
this.
Louis and Kermit.
I love this. So funny.
I see trees of green, red roses too. And I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
A little bit of Kermit the Frog.
I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark secret night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Listen, you're awesome. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for being on my show again.
You're very welcome.
I'm going to thank you in advance for performing at our fundraiser at Friendly's on the 11th. I love you.
And let me ask you a question. How many minutes do you want me to do?
I'm not sure yet.
You're not sure yet?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
All right.
All
We'll
right.
talk.
Whatever you want, Jerry. Anything for
I'm
you.
going to get a group on Facebook of all the entertainers.
Okay.
And you guys could chat.
All right.
Let's play one of Scott's songs, please.
Oh, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I can't believe you didn't make me do any Elvis for you.
Well, wait, do you have his song on there?
Yeah.
Do
yeah,
that.
there is. There is an Elvis song on there.
Do that.
It is on the,
Yes.
man, I'll tell you, Jerry, man. The same one the Alone was on. I believe it is song. Man. Oh, I'll know it immediately. I would say it's around 7.
Seven's my lucky number. It better be
Somewhere
number
in
7.
there. If I hear it,
That would be cool.
I might know what it is.
How do you not remember the Elvis song
There's
exactly?
70
I don't care.
songs on there.
Hear what I'm saying. How could you not remember where the Elvis song is?
You know what? I may have it on this folder, and then I can tell them. I may have it downloaded too.
We're waiting, baby. We're waiting. What do you think? Is it 7?
Nah. I can't. It doesn't sound like it's 7.
It's not?
Yeah.
Oh.
It starts.
Do you have one on there?
No, I'm trying. I was going to. If I could
All right.
access it here, I could tell you exactly which one
Okay.
it is.
So while they're looking for that, Jeff,
I'll tell you an Elvis story.
let's hear it.
Oh, all right. I did a show years ago with Bill Bixby called The Book of Lists. It was real short. It was like 4 weeks. And Elvis, as you know, or might not know, but he did a couple movies with Elvis, one of which was Clam Bake.
Of course. Are
All
you
right.
kidding me?
Remember Clam Bake?
Stop it.
In fact, I got to meet Will Hutchins. I know him. And Bill. So anyway, we had a rehearsal, and the night before, they showed Clam Bake on television. Now, Bill's hair was dyed blonde for that movie. So the next day we go to rehearsal, and we're all teasing Bill. You know, hey, Bill, we saw you with Elvis last night. What's with the blonde hair? And actually, he said, even though Elvis dyed his hair black, he said Elvis did not want another young, good-looking
That's right.
actor with dark hair.
That's right.
So they said, Bill, would you change your hair? Would you dye your hair blonde? And he said, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. But that's why,
Yep.
he, you know.
And I'm not sure if I really believe it came from Elvis. It had to come from the Colonel.
Oh, what? Did it?
That he didn't want another good-looking.
Yeah, I mean,
know.
I don't know. You know, it's. I mean, I could tell you stories that we heard, like a friend of mine, George Wallace. I drove him to his first Tonight Show, and he did great. And we were having dinner afterwards, and I talking to his manager, and I said, "Josh, gee, didn't George do great? Wouldn't it be great if we could do that terrific every time?" And he says, "Well, he better not, or he won't be doing the Tonight Show much because Johnny gets jealous."
Oh. Oh.
You do
okay.
it great, really good. After that, just do good.
Oh.
And then he told me. Then he told me this story. He says, "I'll give you a classic example. Tom Snyder was on the Tonight Show. After the Tonight Show, he left, and that hour and a half was free. NBC was going to give it to Steve Allen, who I also met on that show. But another great guy, so talented. But anyway, so they were going to give that to Steve Allen. Soon as Johnny caught wind of it, contracts were ripped up. He did not want Steve Allen following him. He was the first Tonight Show host, you know, Steve Allen. And what did they do?
Jack Parr left, he came in.
Yeah, when Jack Parr left, well, you know, when Steve Allen left, Jack Parr took over. When Jack Parr left, Johnny took over. So who did they give the show time slot to? David Letterman. You know, he wasn't afraid of Dave, but
So while Scott is looking for this song, will you be able to sing some of your Christmas song? One of your Christmas songs? Something?
you can
anything?
play it. Go on my website and pull it off
Anything?
the website. Can you do that?
So, Jeff, tell everyone out there how to find you, anything else you would like them to know about you.
Well, just that if like I mentioned, I'm working a lot with the Fab Four, and go on the Fab Four website and look at their tour. If it's anywhere in your area, go see them. You might not see me. There's two of us that do Ed Sullivan, you know, depending on who's available. But
What's the name of your song?
how about you make it seem like Christmas every day?
This'll
Is
be
that on
cool.
there? Yeah, so you could play some of that if you want. It's past Christmas, but
Christmas spirit.
yeah. Christmas in January. But yeah, go see the Fab Four. Yeah, they're unbelievable.
They are. They're unbelievable. Absolutely.
Definitely like
Okay.
it.
Do we have one? Okay, we'll hear that. Is this Jeff's? Okay. It's Jeff's song.
Santa Claus is working hard to make your Christmas bright. If you climb the stairs and say your prayers and get some sleep tonight, Mom and Dad will keep an eye for Santa and his sleigh. When the morning comes, we'll have some fun and celebrate this day. Christmas is a time of year that hearts are filled with song. When guiding light that helps to see me through. You're the one that I can count on, come what may. When I'm feeling blue, a smile from you will take the pain away. Yes, you always seem to know just what to say. For you make it seem like Christmas every day. For you make it seem like Christmas every day.
Oh,
I have
wow, and
I
you
have
even
found
sing.
that people who can impersonate voices generally can sing. They generally can. If you look at all the Hollywood actors
They
and
can
stuff,
sing.
yeah, like Seth MacFarlane. People don't realize he's got a really, really great voice. He can do a lot of voice. He did a Christmas special. I mean, just blew everybody away coming out singing Christmas songs. I mean, he's a really great voice.
See, I can't sing or do impressions.
What's that?
It was beautiful.
No, he did it at Rockefeller Center. Yeah.
So,
Next time I'll play another one.
so
So, man, we got
Jeff,
Elvis
that
coming
was
up
so beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So beautiful. Wow, what a show. I'm so in awe.
Yes.
Okay, well, we should have said if it wasn't 7, it might have been 6 or 8.
Right.
Maybe
Now,
next time we get Scott to sing one of my songs.
oh boy.
He's got the voice.
You sound a lot like Dan Fogelberg.
Really?
Yeah.
I like
That's-
Dan Fogelberg.
Yeah, that's who you
That's a
sound-
compliment.
Yeah,
Nice,
that's who you
thank
sound like. You got that
Huh.
folksy type
Yeah,
of
yeah.
sound.
Oh,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
easy.
who you sound like.
All right, guys, now we're going to play Scott's song. Yes. Scott Gager.
Doing a little
With you. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Will it be a sin? And if I can't help falling in love with you, like a river flow surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Something are meant to be. Will take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flow surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Something are meant to be. Will take my hand, take my whole life too. For I can't help falling in love with you. For I
So beautiful. What better way than to close out the Jerry Petito show?
Thank you very much.
There you go.
There you go.
I can't take it.
That was great.
That was great. Thank you, guys.
Thank
you for having us, Jerry.
Thanks for having us.
Amazing. Good night, everybody.